Thank you for virtually attending this year's State of the University address. This has definitely been an extraordinary year, one that we all will remember because of its impact on us personally and because it has so altered how we've gone about serving the needs of our students at Winthrop University. As you all know, I arrived at Winthrop in March during a transition in the presidency. I want to thank the Board of Trustees for the confidence and support they have provided during this most challenging period of transitions. The faculty, staff, and the university leadership have likewise provided the energy, creativity, and hard work that has carried us to this point in the academic year, where we can reflect on our accomplishments and chart new directions for our future. Most importantly, I want to acknowledge and celebrate the support and love of my wife, Allison. Truly, we had no idea what awaited us just a few weeks after arriving on campus. Like so many of us, I wish we could go about our daily lives as we remember what normal was. But unfortunately, the presence of the COVID virus has changed what has become the new normal: wearing masks, social distancing, and practicing good hygiene. Virtual meetings have become the order of the day, but they are important to take advantage of the opportunities to connect and talk to one another during difficult times. No matter how we do it, connecting is so important to us all. I still marvel at how few of you I have actually met face to face, although we have been colleagues at Winthrop for quite a while now. I plan to meet and get to know many more of you and to introduce you to Allison and our most friendly golden retriever, Curry. We've been pleased to be out and about some, living on campus and being engaged in normal activities for a president and a first lady despite COVID. The purpose, of course, of this State of the University address is to stop for a moment, take stock on where we are as an institution, review and celebrate our recent accomplishments, and chart a course of action for the remainder of our year. To begin with, let's review some of the events that have contributed to this unprecedented year. As we all remember too well, talk of a virus welled up seemingly out of nowhere over a couple of months to a point of national crisis. On March 15th, of course, Governor McMaster closed schools and we all retreated to our homes to work remotely, leaving only a skeleton crew on campus at that time. Over the next few months, we temporarily changed admissions criteria, helped students with emergency funds, updated the academic calendar, celebrated our graduates virtually, and some folks went back to work. Who could have imagined that we would work in phases through spring and summer and do everything we could do to mitigate the risk of infection from COVID? Needless to say, we need to acknowledge with appreciation the campus police, IT, healthcare professionals, and facilities personnel and others who kept us safe and worked to ensure that the essential infrastructure was functioning to support our remote work. August brought news that the Big South Conference would delay fall sports, and with trustee support, we made the tough decision to furlough employees. On a brighter note, in September, students came back to campus and testing became available at the Coliseum. Since then, our dashboard was launched, and thanks to our community realizing that we are all in this together, it appears we will all finish the fall semester as we had hoped and planned. We have learned a great deal about ourselves during this period of time, of course, and most importantly, how to adapt. It has been emotionally challenging for us all, I know. At times, I know we've all felt overwhelmed, but we've persisted. Our students, staff, and faculty have found community and support in working together, albeit mostly remotely, of course. Before the pandemic, this community achieved some great things. I call these our pre-pandemic points of pride. Among other accomplishments, I would note that you launched the Bachelor's of Professional Studies program targeting adult learners, raised $6.5 million in cash and pledges in the 2019 calendar year, won the men's Big South Conference basketball championship, And we even had an alum, Cameron Wesley, or Cam West as he's known, make it to the finals of The Voice. Who would have imagined? We must remember that we also have some high points during this pandemic. 2 of our college's accreditations were extended. The College of Business Administration was reaccredited by the AACSB, and the College of Education had no areas for improvement cited in their reaccreditation. A real incredible feat, actually. We also introduced new programs in data science and analytics, applied software development, and educational studies. We were noted a first-gen forward institution, and of course, just last week, we celebrated all of our first-gen community members. TRIO received continued funding for 5 more years to the tune of $1.4 million, and reflective of the times, of course, DHEC came to campus to provide testing to our community. All around us, we saw good things continuing to happen to our good town. We've heard the construction clatter almost nonstop at the University Center. The Panthers have big plans, we all know, for Rock Hill. And have you seen Miracle Park really coming to life in recent weeks? There are 3 areas of notable achievement, however, I would like to focus on. For example, we've continued to be recognized by third parties as an outstanding institution. The Princeton Review noted us as best in the Southeast, and Money Magazine recognized the value of a Winthrop education. But the U.S. News and World Report ranked us highest ever, number 6 among Southern publics, and we did well in many other areas as well. Also, I was very impressed with our voting efforts this fall. Wow. This is a campus that cares about and prioritizes making student voices heard. No wonder we were named by Washington Monthly as one of the 157 campuses nationwide and one of 3 in South Carolina that excels with student voting. We should give a shout out here to the West Forum for spearheading much of this work. Furthermore, I've been proud of the work of the Diversity Council in regards to diversity and inclusion, and I want to make it clear that this work will continue at Winthrop. Some high points include the 2 diversity dialogues, as well as the creation of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Certificate program this fall that is going very well, and with many faculty, staff, and administrators participating. I also want to note that we were number 1 again for hiring of women and minorities compared with other publics in South Carolina in 2019-20. This is a significant accomplishment we want to highlight and celebrate. So my message to you is, after the year we have had, we shouldn't be disheartened. You're a fabulous campus community with much to be proud of, and I'm very proud to be your interim president. One of the things that makes us a great campus community is the foresight of others to create an atmosphere of greatness, the freedom to innovate, and the foundation upon which to build an accomplishment. So, as we navigate the uncharted COVID environment we face, what is it that we aim to accomplish that will serve to affirm our commitment to advancing Winthrop University in strategic ways? First, we need to take stock of our strategic plan. That is, of course, the Winthrop Plan. We affirm our continued commitment to the 5 strategic goals that serve as the foundation for all that we do. We now have had 5 years of data and support our taking a breath and evaluating how successful we've been. The pandemic has understandably distracted us from this earlier, but a review and update of the Winthrop Plan must be undertaken. We need to examine what worked with the plan, how we can improve key metrics, and make changes in the face of their new reality. These conversations will inform our goal to be a right-sized institution, paying attention to our enrollment, those projections moving forward, and the support that we get from the state of South Carolina. I look forward to our work together on how the strategic plan can evolve to serve us and provide an even brighter future. But before I move on, I do want to take stock and note a few highlights from this year's measures and metrics that come from the Winthrop Plan. One of our most important aspirations, of course, is to increase our 6-year graduation rate. We have made progress, having achieved a 64% graduation rate for first-time, full-time freshmen. With the pandemic this year, it might be a challenge, but it looks like some of our actions have had the desired impact on improving this metric, at least through 2019. Improving our graduation rate is in large part highly dependent on improving our freshman to sophomore retention rate. Unfortunately, it appears that our retention rate, while still better than some of our peers, has migrated downward to 70%. And while we have significantly increased the percentage of students who are Alana, Asian, or international, now fully 45% of our student body, our total yearly enrollment headcount has averaged 5,978, with what appears to be a downward trend. As in previous years, the measures and metrics will be posted on the Office of the President's website. You'll be able to see where we ended up on all of these and many more metrics that we keep track of. So we have work to do in reviewing our goals, review what seems to have worked or not, in moving us toward our goals, and determine how we can best recalibrate our Winthrop Plan. Shortly, I will be following up with the chairs of the 5 action groups to launch a thorough review of our 5 goals, with the expectation that by the end of the academic year, we have their recommendations on adjustments we can make to our action steps as indicated, and how we can best deploy our fiscal resources in support of the Winthrop Plan. Second, we recognize this has been a most challenging year financially, due in large part to the pandemic. Many of you know that higher education has yet to be fully restored to pre-Great Recession funding levels. Over the last few years, we've been fortunate to see a gradual increase in allocation for operations and a larger amount in capital funding to support our facilities infrastructure from the state of South Carolina. We have been fortunate to have strong support from our legislative delegation and certainly from our Board of Trustees. But we continue as an institution to be heavily reliant on tuition. The Board of Trustees has been intentional in keeping tuition costs at a minimum of late, with modest to no increase in the last 2 years. However, traditionally, approximately 65% of Winthrop's operating revenue comes from tuition. Auxiliary and other fee structures account for another 15% of our total revenue, which combined means that 80% of Winthrop's revenue comes from tuition and student fees. In this particular year, given the pandemic, graduate enrollments are up 154 students, or 18.5%, but our decreased undergraduate enrollments of 5% and pandemic expenses have impacted our bottom line. Additional stress to our budget has resulted from fall 2020 housing occupancy rates down to 63%, as contrasted to 91% in the fall of 2019. As with many institutions of higher education across the country, we have to make some changes here. This will not surprise you. Old ways of managing our budget have resulted in some serious challenges and are unsustainable moving forward. As some of you have heard me say, there are a number of levers we can pull to deal with the serious challenges we have with this year's budget and in the years to come. The levers include budget cuts, strategic hiring freeze, potential voluntary separation, voluntary early retirement, furloughs, and reduction in force cuts, better known as layoffs, or increasing fundraising or identifying additional revenue sources like program fees. We have already instituted a 10% operational budget cut, a hiring freeze, and furloughs for this year. I've asked our Finance and Business Affairs Division to work on a dynamic budget model that will allow us to implement a 3 to 5 year budget plan that is based on realistic assumptions. This budget model will consider undergraduate, graduate, and graduate online enrollments and tuition rates, retention and graduation rates by class, housing occupancy and meal plans purchased, and other revenue sources, state funding, grant indirects, contract courses, athletics, etc. Consistent with best practices, I've asked that this new budget model create incentives and metrics to support budget allocations and be updated annually to ensure each future year is forecasted accordingly. Although the model will look at 3 to 5 years to help us plan, the budget model will be updated annually to ensure we are meeting our goals and expectations as we continue to move forward. It is our intention to be as transparent as possible as we develop this model and to avoid, insofar as possible, having to do furloughs again or reduction in force. In the end, the purpose is to balance the budget each year, address persistent needs, such as the classification study, free up capital for investments in new program areas, and support faculty and student research, travel, and professional development. As an optimist, I know that by working collaboratively and with the support of our Board of Trustees and faculty and staff, we can emerge from the difficult times as a financially sound institution ready for the challenges and opportunities ahead. Third, I want to talk about our academic master plan. This institution was founded on a commitment to provide an education for women. Over 135 years, Winthrop University has weathered an earlier pandemic, 2 world wars, admitted men, integrated, and as all institutions must, it has evolved in its identity, stature, and its very character as it strives to meet the educational needs of each generation of students. Review and reflection regarding the academic programs we offer are required by our accrediting bodies and are an essential component to our evolution as a vibrant, state-supported institution. Led by our provost, Adrian McCormick, an academic master plan will be developed this year. While we intend to remain responsive to community and workforce needs, we also must review our overall program profile, including assessing whether programs are meeting expectations on indicators such as enrollment, completion, and mission alignment. Some models for program health metrics were shared with the board earlier this month. And as we gather data, they will inform future decisions about program mix, such as whether programs will be put on a plan to grow enrollments, whether they will be modified, or whether they should be eliminated, for example. This year, leaders in academic affairs will review department and college-wide profile data to identify short-term cost containment strategies that are necessitated by our current budget realities, as well as finalize program evaluation processes that will ensure long-term program vitality. Led by the provost and a strong academic master plan leadership committee, I anticipate college program profiles to be critically reviewed, budget allocations to be determined, and an initial 5-year plan for potential new programs responsive to the rapidly changing workforce opportunities for our graduates. Importantly, this work will be accomplished in close collaboration with those in finance and business affairs as they create our new financial plan. Our expert partners at EAB are also supporting this important work. It is expected that the academic master plan will be completed by fall 2021. Despite the COVID pandemic, budget challenges, and much needed academic master plan, we have other positive initiatives that will excite our engagement as we move into 2021. Please allow me to briefly mention them to you. Hopefully you will be as excited as I am. First of all, with the carefully considered changes we may make in our portfolio of undergraduate and graduate programs emanating from the academic master planning work, our campus facilities must also evolve to meet the technological and facility needs of our new programs. Furthermore, it is evident that our campus residence halls and facilities need to evolve as well to attract and serve our more technologically sophisticated students. It is clear to me that we will be launching a campus-wide master planning initiative. Once we have a consultant in hand and launch a visioning process that the whole campus can participate in, we will need to determine how we are going to look different in 5 or 10 years from now. Most importantly, what new facilities do we need to build or renovate? I anticipate this work will provide the opportunity for the involvement of everyone on campus, students, faculty, staff, as well as our alumni and community members here in Rock Hill. Complementing our campus master planning initiative, I will shortly be announcing a sustainable campus beautification initiative. We truly have an extraordinarily beautiful university campus. What with the stately trees lining Alumni Drive, the beautiful stonework of Tillman Hall, and the expanse of the campus green. But as you all know, the toll of weather, humidity, and scarce resources have really extracted their toll, I'm afraid. There is no doubt, with this said, I will be reaching out to the campus community to launch a sustainable campus beautification initiative with the intent that staff, faculty, students, alumni, and our community partners will participate in respecting our institution's history by contributing their energy, vision, and engagement in something that will help us emerge from the COVID doldrums looking better than ever, and as a reflection of the pride that is encompassed in what we all call and refer to as our Winthrop spirit. And finally, as difficult as it may seem right now with everything going on nationally, we must engage the Board of Trustees and Winthrop University Foundation Board to lay the groundwork for a future comprehensive fundraising campaign. This will be a vital step forward during my interim appointment and will set up the institution for success under a new permanent president. We can all understand that this has been a tough time for the advancement team, but I look to that area finding its footing as we focus in on our future. Over the next year and beyond, we will be identifying the strategic priorities that will contribute to our fiscal health, support our faculty and new programs identified in the academic master plan, complement the campus master plan, and support our students as they are increasingly engaged in what we all consider to be an extraordinary university of distinction. Thank you for everything you do to make Winthrop the distinguished university it is today. Seeing how our university community has raised up and met the challenges associated with COVID, I have great faith that we can move forward with these plans and initiatives. We have an honored and storied history here at Winthrop University. I know we all take pride in our accomplishments, care about the legacy we as a dynamic university community are creating, and are up to the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead. As we approach Thanksgiving, final exams, and the holiday season, I wish you good health, and should you travel and gather, be safe. Thank you again.